In this chapter, I'm going to cover some of the settings and options that are available when you have multiple consoles on an EOS network. So first, what I want to do is, starting from the shell, this is the screen that will appear when you boot up your EOS console. What we're looking at here are a series of buttons. Most of these are designed to allow you to choose the startup mode of the console. And those startup modes are primary, backup, client, and offline. There's also a button for system settings and a button to shut down the console. Primary is when you have a console on the network that is standalone, or when you have a console on the network that is going to be the main console and another console is going to back it up. So primary mode kind of has two different functions. Backup is when a console is going to start up and back up another console on the network. Client is when you want to boot a console up into basically keyboard mode, where it's not the master or the backup, it's simply a client. So if you have an additional user that just needs access to program, that would be a client. And offline is when you can boot up the console and use it as you normally would, but the console would not be outputting any data to your rig. So that's a good programming tool if you need to do that. So let's go ahead and boot into some of these modes so that you can see what it looks like, because there are some indicators in the software that you want to pay attention to make sure that your console and your console network is functioning properly. What I'm first going to do is boot the console into primary without any other consoles on the network, so we can see what that looks like. And when your EOS software has booted up, where you're going to be looking is in the upper right-hand portion of the CIA. It's basically right in the middle of the right-hand built-in touchscreen. You're going to see some text indicators to tell you some information about your system. And the color of these text indicators, as well as what they're telling you, do make a difference. So what we're looking at here is the text is in gold, and we see that we are user number 1, we are primary, and the master console. Now let's take a look at what happens when a backup console boots onto the network. You'll notice that the show file will transfer to the backup console. And then the text information will turn green, and that's your indication that you are operating a console that is still the primary and the master. But once that indicator turns green, you know that the backup console is online and functioning. So if you see 3 green text indicators, you know that everything is functioning properly. Let's take a look at what you would see if you are operating the backup console. So now I'm going to start the console up in backup mode, and there's another EOS online that is currently running as the master. And the backup console will first synchronize with the master, and then you will see in amber in our text field that we are the backup console and that we are tracking the data. So now you can instantly recognize that you are at a backup console. This is a similar arrangement when we're a client, so let's take a look at that. And when I boot the console up into client mode, the console will first synchronize with the master to get all of the show data. And then you'll notice that it simply says user 1 and client. So this is your indicator that this console is not backing up any other console, and it's not tracking any of the data. So this console really is just operating as a keyboard, and all of the data for the show is stored on your primary and a backup console if there happens to be another one on the network. And those are some of the options and settings available to you when you have multiple EOS consoles on your network.